What happened to Henry VIII? How did a handsome, athletic young prince become a king who needed help just to move around? Why did he have so many people working around him? And how did Thomas Cromwell, one of the most powerful men in England, end up being executed by the same king he had helped? The strange thing is, all of these stories are connected. When Henry became king in 1509, he looked nothing like the huge man we usually picture today. He was tall, strong, and very active. He loved hunting, tennis, wrestling, and especially jousting at Hampton Court. He even had a large area built where tournaments could take place. But in 1536, one of those tournaments changed his life. Henry was taking part in a joust when he was thrown from his horse and the horse fell on him. He was knocked unconscious for more than 2 hours. He survived, but the injury left him with serious problems in his legs. The ulcers kept coming back and the pain made it much harder for Henry to walk or exercise. And this is where things started to change. Henry stopped living like the young sportsman he had once been, but he didn't stop eating. His body became heavier and heavier. In his early 20s, his waist was around 89 centimeters. By the age of 50, it had grown to about 137 centimeters. Eventually, Henry became so large that he needed help to move around. He even used a wheeled device called a tramp, and the more difficult it became for Henry to move, the more people he needed around him. A Tudor king was never alone. Servants helped him dress, prepared his meals, looked after his room, and took care of almost every part of his daily life. At Hampton Court, the royal kitchens alone had around 200 workers. They helped produce more than 800 meals a day for the king's household. Henry could sit in his rooms and have almost anything brought to him. But while his body was becoming weaker, something else was becoming much stronger. His power. Henry wanted to end his marriage to Catherine of Aragon because she had not given him a surviving son. The Pope refused to give him the answer he wanted, so Henry took control of the situation himself. Between 1532 and 1534, England broke its legal ties with Rome, and Henry became the supreme head of the Church of England. A problem with his marriage had now changed the religion and government of the country, and Henry needed someone who could help him make all of this happen. That man was Thomas Cromwell. Cromwell helped Henry close the monasteries, take control of church property, and built even more power for the crown. For years, Cromwell stood very close to the king, but at Henry's court, being close to the king could also be dangerous. In 1540, Cromwell helped arrange Henry's marriage to Anne of Cleves. Henry hated the match. Cromwell quickly lost the king's favor. He was arrested and executed on 28 July 1540. The same king who had raised Cromwell to enormous power now had him killed. And that is what makes Henry VIII's story so disturbing. It isn't simply about 6 wives, it is about a young prince who started life as a strong and active athlete, then slowly lost control of his own body while gaining more and more control over everyone around him. By the end of his life, Henry needed help to move, eat, dress, and manage his daily life. But very few people around him could safely tell him what he didn't want to hear. His body had become weaker, his court had become larger, and his power had become almost impossible to challenge.